Welcome back to the final part of this series. I'm Flora Sage. Today we are again going to continue what we started yesterday and the day before. So the day before yesterday, you got really clear on where you're starting. Yesterday, you got clear on where you're going. Today, I'm going to help you figure out what's blocking you, what's keeping you from getting or having or doing or being that thing that you really truly want, aka the clutter that's getting in the way. Now, before I share this with you, I wanted to let you know that I have opened up spots in my calendar for complimentary coaching and strategy sessions. During this session, I'm going to help you get really clear on each of these things that we've been talking about in this series. If you're still not super clear yet, when you leave this coaching call, you will be 100% clear about where you are, about where you're going, and most importantly, what's getting in the way of you having the life that you want. And you're going to have a clear strategy on how to declutter those things that are getting in your way. If you want one of those sessions, click the link below, grab your complimentary coaching session today. Now, let's continue on getting really clear about what's getting in the way of the life that you want. And this is where the magic happens, I'm telling you. This is so exciting. This is where I totally geek out with this, okay? So, there are 9 types of clutter that block people from the life that they want. The 9 types of clutter are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. Now, many experts disagree on which type of clutter to begin with. In the over 26 years that I've been helping people to simplify their lives, the one that I have seen transform people's lives the quickest is clearing out the environmental clutter. Now, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Yes, this is usually the one that makes people feel the most overwhelmed and feel like kind of shutting down because they walk into a space and they're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. And this is simply because everything that you see has all these emotions attached to it. All these emotions. It's how much it costs. Oh, it's so useful. What if I need it after I get rid of it? The history behind it, the story behind it, the feeling of guilt of throwing it away or tossing it or gifting it to somebody else, or what if so-and-so is mad that I get rid of this? Seriously, this is I've heard every single emotion that comes up when it starts to get overwhelming and when everything starts to get so much that you're just like, oh my gosh. And this is why it is so hard to start, because you have all these emotions. One of the reasons why this happens, and this is a huge reason that a lot of people really don't know about, the more stuff that you have in your space, the more cortisol or stress hormone that your brain releases into your system. So what do I mean by that? So you walk into a space and your senses, including your eyes, scan your environment. The more stuff your brain has to scan and look at, the more it's like, oh shit, there's a ton of stuff here. There might be a threat. And so it spikes your cortisol, and more cortisol equals more stress. The more stress you have, the worse you sleep, which impacts the food that you eat, which impacts how you show up into the world. Once you clear out your physical clutter, you're going to have less stress. You're going to sleep better. You're going to show up more intentionally throughout your day. You're also going to feel more clear-headed enough to really start to deal with the other types of clutter that are present in your life. Now, a client of mine that I have, she was obsessed with having a homestead. Absolutely obsessed with having a homestead. And she built her life around that. Like, that was the thing. She's like, I want to have a homestead. And she came to me and she was exhausted. She was absolutely exhausted. And she's just like, I don't even know where to start. I'm just, help, please. And upon further investigation, I found out that her home was filled with generations of clutter, plus all of her homesteading and parenting duties to boot. And we began working privately together, and she cleared out all of the excess clutter from her home. Now, again, clutter, this is not about having the bare minimum. Clutter is the stuff that you're not using, that is no longer required for the life that you have and where you're going, okay? And as soon as she cleared out all of her clutter, and we did it hot and heavy, we were like, let's do this. And she realized when she cleared out the clutter from her home that she's like, I don't really like homesteading. It's exhausting. She goes, I really want something else, but I can't really put my finger on it. And I said, what about slow living? Is that what you want? And she's like, what is that? And so we talked about slow living, and she's like, oh, yes, that's what I want. And I said, well, homesteading is not slow living, honey, because you got a lot of stuff going on. And the really cool part is that she talked about this with her husband and her family, and they all were in agreement. They're just like, yeah, it's a lot of work. We're good. And so she only had to make a few shifts. Like, she gifted her chickens to her neighbors, and her neighbors, she didn't eat a ton of eggs. Her neighbors, they were always coming getting eggs, and she's just like, here, why don't you just have the chickens? And on occasion, when we want eggs, we'll just come over and grab a couple. And they're like, perfect. So that's one thing that was done. She had some horses, again, that she gifted to some other people who wanted them. Same thing with their hunting dogs and things like that. They downsized those. And she realized, she's like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe how easy it was to shift from homesteading to slow living. And she was like, oh my gosh, this literally, I am now living my dream life. And it only took her a few months of intentional, focused actions to get there. Most people are so close to living the life that they've always wanted, but they're just bombarded with the physical clutter. So where are you at right now? Do you feel like you have your physical possessions kind of in check, but you just have the other types of clutter to deal with? Or do you feel like, no, I got a lot of stuff in my house and I really need to just start decluttering? Or are you kind of in the middle of the mix? So I want to share with you in my journal some of the types of clutter that typically get in the way of people's lives and what the symptoms of those are. So daily clutter, you have the symptom of rushing, no free time, feeling burnt out, focusing on unimportant things, and also being busy over being productive. That will clue you in on, you probably have some daily clutter going on, okay? Body clutter. You're carrying excess weight. You overeat or undereat. You have low energy or low stamina. You oversleep or you don't get enough sleep. You ignore the warning signs from your body, like you have high blood pressure, you've got a rash, you've got other bodily symptoms. Maybe your digestive tract is out of whack. Those are some symptoms that you have body clutter. Financial clutter. Some of the symptoms that you have financial clutter are you don't know what your numbers are. You're overdrawn in your accounts. You have no extra money to do things that you want to do. You're using no money as an excuse not to do things. You think managing money or wealth is hard. You avoid learning about money, wealth, and investing. And you blame rich people for problems in society or the economy. Here are some symptoms of spiritual clutter. You get triggered by other faiths. You live with a lack of peace in your heart around your faith. And also you have fear-based beliefs, like you will do this or else. That is a symptom. If you're triggered by other faiths, if you live by fear instead of peace, these are symptoms that you might have spiritual clutter. Digital clutter. You might have constant notifications or interruptions going off on your phone. You will feel mentally, emotionally, and physically drained after being on your device. You have an excessive use of your device. And a lot of the times you can't find things on your device like photos or documents or apps or emails, etc., on your device. And so that tells me that that is a symptom of having digital clutter. A symptom of having environmental clutter are you can't have anybody over because you have so much stuff and you're embarrassed about it. You can't find things easily because everything is just kind of shoved in places. You get overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that you have. And it takes forever for you to clean your home. Those are some symptoms that you have environmental clutter. Now, process clutter. This is a big one. You have perfectionism. That is a symptom of having process clutter. I'm going to do it myself if I want it done right. You do a lot of busy work without a clear result or a clear kind of end goal in mind. You're just kind of doing the busy work. This is the way we've always done it, or blindly doing things without knowing why. And then another one, and this is a huge one, you plan to plan to plan. You make a list of the lists that you're going to make for the other list. You overplan. These are all symptoms of process clutter. Now, mental and emotional clutter typically go hand in hand. Now, mental and emotional clutter, numbing out mentally. These are symptoms of these types of clutter. Numbing out mentally, not trusting your intuition, overthinking, not being present in the moment, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, nostalgic thinking, blaming others for your issues, avoidance, fear of abandonment, fear of engulfment, blaming others for your life problems, avoidance of current and past issues, as well as forms of addiction. So these are symptoms of the other 9 types of clutter that could be getting in the way of the life that you want. Now, how many of those symptoms did you identify with? How many of those things do you recognize, wow, like I have these other types of clutter? Now, often, like I said, a lot of people, because you have these little nuanced things, you have this type of clutter here and this type of clutter there, as well as the clutter in your home, which causes stress, you feel like, oh my God, like I don't even know where to start. And so this is one of the reasons why I do what I do. I offer so many different things for you so that no matter where you're starting from, you can literally look on the front page of my website and say, okay, I want to start with 36 things that I can declutter in 10 minutes or less. Or I want to tackle my daily clutter and I have a habit tracker there for you. Or you can book a strategy call where we dig in together, where I help you figure out these plot points of where you're starting, where you want to go, and I help you look at these symptoms and look at what other types of clutter are going on in your life that are preventing you from getting that thing or those things that you truly, truly want in your life. I also offer a 10-day decluttering challenge, which is super, super fun. I also do every single month a virtual decluttering day, and this is where we spend 5 hours decluttering your physical clutter, which is so incredibly amazing. And I also work with people one-on-one privately, both for business and personal, to help you declutter your life one-on-one in the privacy of your own home. Sometimes that looks like us going on to Zoom and doing an active decluttering day. Sometimes it looks like coaching. And for the business side of things, I look at your business and I help you to simplify your business so that you're really focusing on those core components that bring you the most joy and the most revenue for your business and the dream life that you truly desire and the type of life and business that you want. And so I would encourage you to jump on a call with me today. And what this is going to do, again, this is going to help you save time, because I don't want you just picking what you think you want. You're just like, oh yeah, that might be good, or this might be a good class, or this might be a good option, or whatever. what these complementary strategy and coaching sessions help you do is to identify, again, where you're at, where you want to be, and what's getting in the way. And it might just be a quick 10-day declutter challenge that helps kickstart your progress, and then you can run from there. It might also be working with someone else, or it might be working with me privately. And so I want to save you time by helping you figure out exactly what your big picture vision looks like. Again, where you are, where you want to be, and the messy middle, and helping you get really clear about those pieces that we can easily take out so that you now can get those things that you want in a very intentional, very mindful way that feels good, that feels freeing, that doesn't feel overwhelming or cumbersome. So if you want to book your complimentary strategy session, click the link below, jump on a call. I have several sessions available every single week so that I can help you. Thank you for joining my list and coming into my world. And I truly, truly love the work that I do. I totally geek out doing this. This is my life's mission and my life's calling. So if you've enjoyed this series of videos and you do feel called and guided to book a session with me, click the link below. You can also hit reply to this email that you got the link from for this and share with me how these videos have impacted you in any way. And let's start a conversation. You know, I'm here to help change people's lives. I have a spirit of service. And yes, I love doing what I'm doing. And again, thank you so much for coming onto my list and watching these videos. And I hope to be in touch with you very, very soon.